great interview set up right now. We have Alison Gordon and Jeannette, I'll get this right, VanderMarel.
Very good. That's right.
Okay, and just so the viewers know, Jeannette was a founder of Tea God.
Yes.
And she's now joining her company, her private company, with Alison Gordon's public company.
Yes.
And it's a very big transaction.
It's a very, very big transaction.
And yesterday the market noted it and,
yeah.
and rewarded you with a nice increase.
Yes, they did. We were up about 20% yesterday. We've been working on this deal for, they don't happen overnight, even though it seems that way.
How long have you been working on it?
I think Jeannette and I...
Summer?
Yeah.
This summer.
We were on a panel together, and I've long admired Jeannette. She is an industry veteran. And,
sure.
And while people say that lightly, it's so important for our industry. And you and I have talked about this before,
sure.
which is really to have the experience having, Jeannette's the only person in Canada to have gotten 2 licenses from, application right through. So to have that experience of cultivating, building the business, working with Health Canada, understanding the regulation, like you can't put money on that kind of thing.
Street cred.
Yeah, well, more than street cred, business cred.
Well, but I mean, you're real.
Yeah.
You've done it.
She's done it.
Absolutely, and it worked out great.
Oh,
good.
Go ahead. No, sorry.
I've been a fan of Alison for a long time as well. We met back in 2014, I believe, and when we were all waiting to get licenses from Health Canada at the time. And she's done amazing. She's amazing at branding, knowing what consumers need, really identifying brand trends, markets, sales, really getting that name out there. So we see it's a great complementary relationships between our companies. I'm certainly focused on outdoor cultivation with Health Canada's approval. That's a great new thing in the regulations. We can now actually do outdoor cultivation under the Cannabis Act.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So when Jeannette and I first started talking, they had their indoor facility, which they have, and they received their cultivation license a couple weeks ago.
Where is this facility?
Brantford, Ontario. So just
I
west
live
of
in
Toronto.
London, Ontario,
okay,
so
perfect.
I know
Okay,
where
you know
Brantford is.
where, right? So
I'll stop by.
Please do. Please do.
The train stops there every day.
Perfect.
Yeah, so Jeannette, their facility was in Brantford. Beautiful facility, a lot of room for manufacturing, extraction, all the things 48 North wants to do with the next generation products that you and I have discussed, like the edibles and the vapes and the topicals. And then sort of really early into our conversation, Health Canada announces they're going to allow for the outdoor grow. So we started investigating that at our facility in Northern Ontario, and we just, it's a lot to get into agriculture, never mind indoor and greenhouse cultivation.
Yes.
So Jeannette, in our conversation, says, okay, we've just purchased an organic farm 10 minutes from the indoor facility. It's perfect. It has 2 harvests organic, and I'm growing outdoor. And I was like, we have got to get this deal done because Health Canada wants to work with people like Jeannette, people who they know can show that their process and regulations will lead to success, and she's done it twice before, so I have no doubt she'll do it again. And
going forward, you're going to be co-CEOs of the new entity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was this a cash transaction?
No, this was an all-stock transaction. Yeah, okay. And we received a lead order of $7 million from a very large hedge fund out of the US, so over $20 billion in assets they manage, so very blue chip. We're super excited about that. They saw the opportunity to be able to meld Good and Green with 48 North, bring those together, bring the low-cost production. I mean, outdoor is just a game changer, and Jeannette can talk to you about that. It will change the game in Canada, quite frankly.
So outdoor production is much more...
It's much better. So cannabis is a plant that grows outdoors. The only reason it was brought indoors...
It's like the difference between maybe real and not real, right? Like, I hate to say it that way, but
it's true. The only reason it was brought indoors is because of the illegality of it. So people started growing their garages and basements and greenhouses inevitably.
And their houses.
And their houses and all those places.
That house down the street. What's that house down the street doing?
A lot of electricity there.
Yeah, like jeepers.
So outdoor, my focus is on organics. Obviously founding the other company, the Green Organic Dutchman, started that on a basis of organics, and I'm continuing with that. We found a wonderful 100-acre organic farm very close to our site in Brantford. And
are you from the area?
I live in Ancaster.
Okay, nice. Nice. That's a nice town.
Yes,
near Hamilton, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the outdoor production, like, I'm not supposed to give numbers, but really it is significantly less than greenhouse. And so
in terms of cost.
In terms of cost. And that's where, you know, ultimately one of the things that we admired about each other and why we're excited is we're very focused on profitability.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I know
that's nice to hear.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. For me, I don't understand, and you know, excuse my ignorance, but running these companies that will have massive overhead because they've maybe got a ton of facilities and infrastructure. The idea that we could have 46,000 kilos in 2019 with our current facility, as well as what Jeannette's doing in Brantford and the farm, I mean, like, that's a very tight operation.
Just remind the viewers, how much cash are you sitting on right now?
We are, well, I guess we have about 10 million in the bank.
Yes.
We have the lead order of 7, and we're going to raise another 3 by the end of November.
Yeah.
So you're raising $10 million.
We've raised 7,
Okay, but you're not using that money to buy this business.
No.
You're doing a stock transaction.
Yeah.
So that's just going to shore up your working capital, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're public companies, so there's only so much we can say, but let's just say I'm very excited to announce our first quarter financials very soon. So the cash in the bank is really for us. Part of it is for the farm, some of the stuff in Brantford.
Yeah. There's some low CapEx and then OpEx for the farm.
Yeah, so you're going to be major, you two are going to be major shareholders, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's always something on my checklist.
Yes.
I want to see skin in the game.
Oh, I definitely have that.
Because if you don't have skin in the game, and there's a book on the bestseller list right now, if you don't have skin in the game, what's the point?
That's right.
Like, nobody cares, right?
Right.
If you don't have your own blood, sweat, and tears involved, nobody, you can just turn around and walk away.
No, that's certainly not the case here. I'm obviously heavily vested. Obviously, it's an all-stock transaction, so I have to.
Did you have an employee option plan, or do you?
Yeah, we do. Both of us believe strongly in that.
Yeah, good.
Incentivizing employees to keep going. I mean, this industry, one of the big challenges is human capital, right? Absolutely. As I said, like, to find somebody with Jeannette's experience, it's not possible. You could not find them, and you couldn't hire them. So you have, what is it, like 65 sales licenses right now? There aren't a ton of people out there in Canada who have worked in this industry that you can engage. So anyone that you've hired, they're a hot commodity for another licensed producer. So keeping your staff incentivized and motivated is really a key. Yeah,
this sounds like a really a nice marriage here. It looks like
we think we have a great time, and we have great communication. And I think
I sense your
we're excited.
Positive energy here. Like, and you're obviously complimenting
We're really
each other.
excited because it's not easy running a cannabis business. Anyone who says it is not telling the truth. You're running in all directions. Like, we want to come and speak with you, and you've got the stock, market stuff. You've got investor relations growing.
Yeah, for sure.
So 2, we say, is better than 1 for sure. I mean, and I think
split up our roles. So I'll be more focused on operational management, government relations, areas like that. Alison, obviously, in the great skills in marketing, branding, sales, investor relations, and it's very complementary. And the same as our companies, where mine is more focused on high cost or high production, low cost output, and you're creating great brands that'll resonate with consumers. So it's a perfect company.
Yeah, I mean, right now at our facility in Kirkland, we are selling wholesale, which we've talked about before, Ed. And because there is a big undersupply in the market, we're getting incredible prices, between $7 and $8 a gram for our wholesale product, which requires very little infrastructure and costs. So having Jeannette's skill set be able to come in and help us increase those yields, I mean, with minimal expense or none additional expense, we're going to be able to up that our grow. And quite frankly, the biggest companies in this space are currently competing to purchase our wholesale and make 12-month commitments. So this is a really interesting time to have a good, solid company. Everyone's looking at the stocks and going, oh, it's dipping and the industry's over. It's like, no, this is going to be a $10 billion industry. There will be lots of money for these companies to make. But how tight can you keep it while it's all the kinks get worked out?
Yeah, for sure. And I know, I've been involved for 40 years in a number of different things, and quite a bit at the junior end. The disregard for the cash, control, managing the money properly. Like, let's face it, you don't have any cash, nothing happens. And if you have cash, then you can, you know, meander and you can do what you have to do and survive.
I think that did work, but I think right now, as this industry develops, I think we have to have real fiscal responsibility. I think we have to have real key metrics and real KPIs. I think we have to be able to execute our business plans effectively, and I think that's the change in the maturation of the industry now. Whereas I think there was a lot of momentum previously.
Sure. Well, now it's real, right? Like it's legal. It's real. It's game time.
But it's not real in the sense, it's real, but I think what people need to understand is legalization is a process. Yeah. So it's not, the provincial governments aren't just going to open hundreds of stores overnight. So that's the point that we're making. We have a low cost, high quality grow, and we have product, which is necessary, but we're not spending ridiculous money to then not really have anywhere to distribute or sell into, right? So I guess what I'm saying is we've always felt, and Jeannette and I are on the same page, we don't necessarily believe there's a first mover advantage to brands in this chaotic retail environment. I mean, we both ordered from the OCS on the same night, the night of the 17th, right? Right. Jeannette got hers, I think, a week later. I got mine 2 weeks later.
Right.
I didn't even, when it arrived, was like, it just didn't even, it lost the luster of any of it. So that reflects on those companies, right?
Sure.
Like while it's not their fault, I wasn't happy with what I'd ordered because I got it 2 weeks later. So we're kind of saying, okay, wholesale's good. We'll get our stuff into store as we see things start to develop and consumers can have the right experience.
And how many, so what was the specific terms for the, so it was a total value of $10 million? Was that the transaction?
No, it was
18.
18? Yeah. And so that's all stock?
Yeah.
And at what price was that? What was the deemed value of the stock? Like, was it like at 50 cents a share?
No, what we're saying is that it was at, like, when we calculate everything all together, at today's stock price, it would be an $18 million transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, is that okay?
Well, it sounds like a great combination.
Well, we'd love to host you in Brantford.
Come visit.
Okay.
You guys should come and check out the grow. They just started cultivating on Friday.
Right.
Very nice to have plants in the building now and moving forward the growing. And
we're probably at the end of growing season here.
This is indoor.
This is indoor. Okay. So we have the 46,000 square foot indoor facility in Brantford and the 100-acre outdoor farm. So we've broken ground and we're working on getting things ready already for the 2019 growing season on the farm. Installing fencing, security, all of the things to be compliant with Health Canada, and working on amending the soil organically. So we're ready to plant early in spring 2019.
That's going to be so exciting.
It's a beautiful farm.
I think of it outdoor.
I know.
It's going to be.
Now, I guess you're going to have like, I guess you just can't, is this got to be fenced in somehow?
Yeah. Absolutely. So it has to be compliant. The new regulations say that we must have the same thing. So perimeter security, access control, and intrusion detection and control.
Wire, electric fences.
All those things. Yeah, I don't tell you everything we're doing for security, but there's a lot of security features.
I was being a little
it's not just open fields.
No.
We're not there yet.
Well, I grew up on a little farm in that area, so I know.
Did you?
I know the area. Well, no, it's down towards Windsor, but southwestern Ontario.
Well, and this is a beauty. That's the other part.
Brantford's spectacular.
Well, for farming,
it's
amazing. I mean, if you wanted to live somewhere, it's only like an hour and 15 minutes by train from downtown.
And you're not helping me getting Jeannette to move to Toronto with this like beauty.
Maybe you're gonna move to Brantford.
Maybe.
Well, then how would I come visit you guys?
By train.
I mean,
yeah, that's true. Jeanette's here. No, it's a perfect place to grow, and that's the thing too. So when the government announced that they would allow for the outdoor grow, there's not that many. I mean, you can speak better to this.
Yeah, there's not a lot that have moved into that already. My background is in agriculture. I grew up, my family is one of the largest apple producers in Ontario.
Is that the Niagara?
In the Hamilton-Burlington area.
Sure.
So I grew up in a large-scale farming family.
Sure.
So as soon as outdoor was allowed, I started researching.
Is that a Dutch name?
It is.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
My parents
now, I know a lot of people in the area that in the dairy business.
Yeah.
We're just amazing talent in that field, like in farming and agriculture.
Most of the rural communities, I think, are an awful lot of Dutch people. My parents were Dutch immigrants.
Yeah.
Came from Holland and began farming.
Is that the Green Organic Dutchman? Is that?
I'm the Dutch part of that. Yes.
No kidding. There you go. Whoa.
Now it's making sense to you, the whole thing.
We made a connection here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm nearly Dutch.
Now, is there anything else you want to add?
No, we're really excited. Low cost production obviously is very important.
Sure.
You know, it's great that we didn't spend a lot of capital on greenhouse infrastructure, because I think that outdoor growing is going to be a total game changer in the industry. And obviously developing brands and products for the edibles and topical health and beauty market for next year.
Yeah, I'll just add, because I know last time I was on, we talked about the outdoor, because we had done the supply deal and some of the people were commenting and going outdoor. So realistically, the bulk of outdoor, large percentage of it is used for extracted purposes.
Yes.
So for, as Jeannette said, the things that will come in a year, the edibles, the vapes, all of those things. So for those viewers who are looking at going outdoor, you know, that's going to be whatever, not something they're thinking about when they want that shelf. So
that's why you've got the great indoor production at your northern site, and I've got a great indoor facility in Brantford as well. So now we have 2 indoor sites that are licensed, plus we've got the huge capacity on the farm.
And the outdoor, how much acreage do you have again? Just
100 acres.
100 acres. I know exactly what 100 acres is.
Yeah, and 100 acres, like at a conservative estimate, would get you about 40,000 kilos. Like that is a significant amount of inventory. And for extracted purposes, it's huge. And so when you think about, you know, we all saw the speculation around Coca-Cola and all the big CPGs coming in. They are going to need to partner with a company that can have a large scale, low cost, organic, I think would be ideal, supply. Because think about if Coca-Cola is doing a CBD drink, I mean, that's a mass amount. They can't work with people who may or may not have inventory for them.
And I was just thinking, there's going to be a lot of successes, but there's also going to be failures. And if you manage the money properly, then you'll be
I completely agree. And that's really your focus on profitability and fiscal responsibility. And you know, good shareholder value, but there's ways to do it without burning excessive amounts of capital.
I really, this is good. I really like
the Dutch are known to be frugal, so you know it's.
Listen, sometimes less is more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we know who we are. And we're not trying to take over the world. We want to have great revenues, great profits, and expand from there. We'll see where it goes.
Sure.
But certainly focus on those key metrics first and make sure we're doing it right.
And the other thing that I think is really important to Jeannette and I, you know that 48 North was focused on the female market, and Jeannette has been a long advocate for women in the industry. But really, as we came together, we were like, we still want to have focus and do female-oriented products, or you know, for women. But we also want to have more diversity. We feel there's a real lack of diversity in the industry.
Sure.
Not just gender, all sorts of diversity. And we just think these are markets that they're cannabis users and consumers. And by taking the time to engage these markets, you can really win. Thanks,
Perfect.
Ed.
Okay, I think we're going to leave it there.
All right.